Hey everybody, I'm Aaron Simmons. This is Philosophy for Where We Find Ourselves, May 13th, 2024. So today I'm going to invite you to join me on the Trout stream to talk about a couple philosophical lessons and things that we can put into practice in our everyday lives, whether we're stuck in the office or we do, in fact, get the opportunity to get to the mountains. It's been a while since I've done a video out trout fishing. I used to do quite a bit more during COVID. But today I had the great opportunity to be invited to join the May X fly fishing and river conservation class at Furman University. They invited me to go fishing with them, and I'm going to come back and give a lecture to them later this week. And a wonderful time spent on the river with the students. We actually caught quite a few fish. It was wonderful. But it made me think about two things that I thought were worth sharing with you today in a quick little video beginning of the week, and hopefully it sets stuff off the right way for you. The first thing is actually the idea that I develop in my book, Camping with Kierkegaard, in the chapter called Of God and Trout Fishing. There, I talk about the radical importance of really not confusing catching with fishing. The idea is that we too often in life think that catching is what makes the day worthwhile. Only if we caught a bunch, we limited out, we filled our creels, only then was the day a good one, a successful one, we say. But it's important to remember that many times the best days are the ones where the fish just aren't biting, but we got to be on the river. Faithfulness is ultimately about the hope of being invested in becoming the person we were happy being. That's a complicated way of saying it's not just about catching fish, it's about being someone who keeps finding ways to get to the rivers. Now, when it comes to fishing, I admit that catching sure makes the day more fun, but hands down, the most memorable days on the river with my dad, with my son, are not the ones where we just catch a bunch. It's the ones where we actually had adventure. Things went ways we hadn't quite predicted. Stuff went kind of sideways. We slipped and fell in, went over our heads in the water. Whatever the situation was, the adventure is actually what makes the memory. The time spent together is what made it worthwhile. Catching fish was just a bonus. So it's important that we not confuse the success of the catch with the faithfulness of the trip. The second thing, though, that I want to mention is an idea that I talk about a lot, but it just continues to be so important. And it's drawn from my friend Aaron James, who says that it's important to be invested in life in a way that cultivates adaptive attunement. In other words, that we are aware and invested in the surroundings where we find ourselves and the circumstances, the situation that we face, but we are adaptive because we're not stuck in our ways. We're not insisting that things go only one way. When it comes to fishing, this morning I got out here and nothing was biting. And so I switched the retrieve and brought my fly back through the water a little bit quicker, and suddenly the fish hit. And then they kept hitting and kept hitting. And when I got to about 15 or so, I decided to stop, call the students down, put them onto the fish, and all of them started catching fish once I explained the fly to use and the speed of the retrieve. Had I insisted on saying, this is the right way, I might not have caught anything at all. Being able to change the fly, change the speed, change the direction from which you pull the fly, all of this impacts the way that we then navigate the situation and the circumstances we find ourselves in. The same is true in life more broadly. Are we willing to be humble enough to change course, to change direction when things aren't working out the way we had hoped? So today, cultivate adaptive attunement and throw yourself into faithfulness rather than being only committed to success in a kind of vulgar, quantitative way. More is not always better. So be invested, live on purpose, and maybe find your way to a river nearby. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you next time, unless a piano falls on our heads.